Don't you know his theme song? It's all about the money, 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 money.
That's not his theme song, bro. His theme
Whatever,
song is No
Shane,
Chance.
whatever.
Yeah, what?
It's a big man. It's a big man.
That's Shane.
Boo! What, Jesse? His theme song isn't money, money, money,
It's
money.
No
It's
Chance.
No Chance in Hell. Boo, 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 Jesse Chaparro, bro. Okay. No, you know what? You know what? For that, you don't even get to answer this question. RKJ.
It's the sauce, Alexander.
This is Watts.
Make sure you like, subscribe, Ring General Podcast.
And don't forget to subscribe to the Ring Generals, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. Absolutely. Do it, or I will get you.
And you're watching the Ring General Podcast. Turn this man around. Turn this man around. Subscribe, like, and comment.
But raise a glass in the sky and salute the Ring Generals.
That's right.
Welcome, everybody, to the Ring Generals Podcast. I am Nick Nenad. Alongside me is Eazy-E Eric Santos.
What's cooking, guys?
My main man, Jesse Chaparro.
How's it going, jabronis?
And, of course, the RKJ Man.
Let's talk that talk, y'all. Hypocritical Nick! We got a super spreader in Florida coming up soon, baby.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We have more than we anticipated to talk on this kind of shortened podcast today. This might go longer than we expect, but we're not intending it to. So we obviously have a little bit of content laying over from last week that you guys can still watch. That will be in the link below in the description. But we wanted to record something for Fastlane, and we got news about UFC 261 that we can't not talk about. So we will get to that, Fastlane 261 in a second. I did want to give the chance to Eric Santos. He was not on the podcast last week. We had a lot of big topics to talk about. To give your opinion on what RKJ Man and I thought about on the podcast. We want to get your opinion about AEW Revolution and everything that went on with the explosion and Christian. Just give your quick thoughts. I'm going to give you the floor to start this podcast since you didn't get a word in last week.
I thought the show went pretty well. I thought that the matches went pretty good. You know, a lot of people were crap about AEW at the very end of the fireworks and whatnot, the explosion. But I did like the way how Don Callis and Kenny Omega was making fun of the smart marks on the internet and the fans on the in the audience over at the arena. But hey, that's just Kenny Omega, because you don't think, do you really think that Kenny Omega and Don Callis don't listen and watch our podcast? Like you don't think that they don't listen to that? So of course they're gonna jump on it. So that's what Kenny Omega does and Don Callis does. So hey, you know what? I think they did a good job of doing that segment afterwards. The event, I thought it went pretty good. I thought it was a really good event. I'm not going to sit here and say that, oh, well, the end is going to be the one that basically made the event all crappy. But no, it didn't bother me at all. The signing of Christian, I had speculations that he was going to show up, but I didn't really want to give up my hopes up because I knew there was going to be fans out there that are going to say, oh, it's CM Punk, CM Punk, CM Punk, John Cena, John Cena, John Cena. And I'm like, guys, shut up. Santa's not real. Get out of here. So,
yeah, damn right.
And
damn right.
Guys' podcast. So before you guys give me any crap about it, I knew what I was going to get myself into. So there you have it.
Of course. Eric cut out there a little at the end. He said that he listened to the podcast and he heard my Santa comment and agreed with it essentially. I think that's what he said, but he cut out. So I'm going to go with it. Eric agreed with me on the podcast. And that when he says smart mark, when he says smart mark, he's talking about you, RKJ Man. That's what he's talking about.
And everybody else.
Yeah.
I know who they are. I know the comments.
Hey, I have to talk real quick, real fast. First of all, fuck Santa Claus. I said that last week, and I was the first person who said that last week. And second of all, since we're going with this whole mascot thing, fuck the Easter Bunny too, because that's one's coming up too as well. I just want to say that as well. I hate the Easter Bunny. So, it's one of those situations where we're going to have to agree to disagree on this AEW Revolution pay-per-view. We're going to move forward, but I'm telling you right now, guys, they're making some crucial mistakes that is not making me too happy as a supporter of AEW.
Well, the bosses, I understand.
Fair point.
Yeah.
Fair point.
The bosses, it's there. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
And we're not gonna talk about that really anymore on this podcast until something else happens. But yeah, go back and listen to RKJ Man's and I's argument last week. It was pretty heated, and I thought I won it because when I was editing it, it was hard to find good points from him. So
that's what you do. He edits it. It could be perfect for him.
Okay, so
all the good parts for me and put it on Instagram. That's what he does. That's what he does.
No, that's not what it was. That's not what happened. What happened was I just went over the argument, and that's all I could find that was like actual stuff, was me making good points and you not. So I'm just saying.
You were editing the podcast last week because you're delusional.
Moving on, ladies and gentlemen. Moving on to the next topic.
Okay. So see, we're still fighting. Okay. Again, I'm sure we won't be fighting later because we're going to be talking about Fastlane, and we all agree WWE sucks. So let's get all our fighting out in the beginning. Yeah. So let's get into a little UFC news that came out last night. We're recording on Tuesday. It's St. Patrick's Day today if you're watching on the first day, and of course it's St. Patrick's Day weekend if you are listening on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whatever you're listening. But so we're recording on Tuesday. So Monday came out the UFC 261. We'll have the main event of Chaparro Usman and Jorge Masvidal 2, which normally would be such huge news because Chaparro Usman did call out Jorge Masvidal after he won his big championship match against Gilbert Burns 2 pay-per-views ago. And a lot of people thought, well, Masvidal's jumping the line. He doesn't really deserve it. Usman destroyed Masvidal the first time they fought, albeit Masvidal taking out on 5 days' notice and flying all the way to Abu Dhabi. So, hard. Jones can be whoever, right? It's going to be hard to do. So we get this rematch. And again, that would be the big news. But the bigger news about this is for the first time since the pandemic started, which was just a little bit over a year ago, here in March, UFC is going to have a fully attended show in Jacksonville, Florida. And where else would you have a great show than Jacksonville, Florida at this point? So they're going to be at the 5-Star Memorial Arena. Used to be called the Jacksonville Memorial Coliseum or something like that. It's Jacksonville's main arena. It's got 14,000 to 15,000 seats in it. And they're going to sell it out. Florida's open, and states like Texas are open. So we might see this, coming in the future. I know I mentioned this on the podcast last week. The Texas Rangers are going to be allowing a full attendance. Jerry Jones announced that the Cowboys would likely have full attendance when the NFL season came along in the fall. And now we have this announcement of UFC being a fully attended show officially. There are rumors that WWE might try to make WrestleMania, and we'll give our take on that in a second, so nobody gave that away right now. But RKJ Man, I know you had some thoughts on this. This is the thing you really want to talk about in this podcast. Your thoughts on UFC 261 having fans?
I think it's going to be a hell of a super spreader. I think it's going to be a disaster, personally. If you want to talk about health protocols, this is the reason why America is so far behind in terms of everybody else, in terms of this COVID-19 pandemic. We're not out of the weeds yet. We're not going to have 75% vaccination by the time we get to April 24th. Yet states like Florida and Texas and the Dakotas, whichever one they are, who cares who they are, to be honest with you, are making the decision to say, hey, look, we're going to open everything up. It's going to hurt our economy if we don't open everything up. It's very, very dangerous when you do these types of things because not everybody's going to be wearing their mask and wearing their mask properly, too, because you can't just wear a mask. You got to wear it properly as well. But as far as having fans goes from the UFC standpoint, good for them. They were able to find a way to find a loophole. Now, my only thing is this. We saw last year, it was a situation where he was willing to buy an island early on in the pandemic in Dana White, and they were willing to do something, and the state of California got involved with the reservation, whatnot, and then Walt Disney got involved. Will Walt Disney get involved again and say, hey, look, we don't think it's a good idea for you to allow full capacity for UFC 261, even though it's great. We don't think it's a good situation because of how it could look for us being a partner with you guys.
Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting take on it. I would expect Disney not to do anything, only because, I mean, what are they going to stop the Texas Rangers also from not stop, and they're going to not show the Cowboys on Monday Night Football because they're like I think at this point there's going to be a lot more of these events sort of happening where there's going to be a lot of fans. Companies like ESPN and Fox don't really have the power that they did back then when kind of everybody was on the same page. Now we have a lot of different thinking. We have a lot of people vaccinated. And I think ESPN would probably stay away from it based on the fact that they've probably got really, really, really good pay-per-view buys for the McGregor card that had fans in January and this last triple championship card that happened a couple weeks ago with Adesanya and Blatchowicz being in the main event. So I would expect them to stay away. Real quick, RKJ, you had one more point, and I'm going to toss it to Jesse.
Now, really quickly, you were making that point about ESPN with the NFL, MLB. Well, those are established organizations that's been around for damn near a century, and MLB over a century in counting. So it's a situation where those are established products that have been there for a while, and you don't want to piss those people off, because if you do, ESPN's going to be out of business, honestly. So it's a situation with UFC. They are paying less for UFC than they have in previous other deals. So they could kind of take a little bit more control with this thing with UFC. We see ESPN Plus is now the main provider for UFC pay-per-views. As crappy as it is, that's the deal that they signed up for. So the fact of the matter is this: Walt Disney can still have a say over this and say, hey man, we're not comfortable with you having fans, or we need certain protocols to be put in place, or else, we're not really going to do as much in terms of promotion as we would like to do for this, because we still want to promote safe and healthy practices right now during a pandemic. That's just my feeling.
Yeah, no, and it'd be interesting to see with ESPN Plus how many new subscribers came over when ESPN did start producing most UFC shows behind the ESPN Plus brand. I know ESPN Plus probably has a higher NHL audience, which will get higher now because the NHL was just bought up by ESPN again. But the NHL, I think they throw on about 1 or 2 games a night on ESPN Plus just for free. Any game, any market, anything. It's almost like having a center ice or something like that. So it'd be interesting to see, again, is ESPN's bottom line so big with UFC and has been so exponentially grown as far as money? Is it necessarily for them to go in there and challenge him? Jesse, your thoughts on fans being back, and I obviously want to get your thoughts on Usman and Masvidal rematching as well.
As for the Usman and Masvidal fight, I mean, it's pretty much it should have happened in the very beginning in the first place. Like Masvidal should have had a full camp, but he decided to pull out and then comes back in, rescues us, the fight card. But it'll be very interesting how things go out with the full camp from both competitors, such as Usman and Masvidal coming in, especially given the circumstance that Masvidal had a short day's notice fight with Usman. So we'll see how prepared these two are. And, I mean, you're going to see fireworks. But as for the fans, the capacity, I'm going to have to agree with Ryan. Some of these things are somewhat still kind of dangerous for us, as health provisions are not fully established just yet. As for not everybody's going to be vaccinated, but I'm pretty sure they're going to have really strongly secured protocols. They're going to start making sure everybody either comes in and make sure they don't have COVID at all. They test them out, weeks, especially the ones who get the tickets as well. They're going to be tested out. They're not just going to let anybody else willy-nilly just in like they used to. We'll see how things turn out. Hopefully everything turns out okay, but if not, and it's a damn shame that it's going to have to be this way. But overall, I'm looking forward to this event happening.
Yeah, no, it's going to be interesting. Eric, your thoughts on first Masvidal and Usman. We did know about the other two fights, and we'll talk about them when we actually do a preview show. But your thoughts on Masvidal, Usman officially being announced. Officially, they're going to be fighting. Masvidal, Usman both have full camps. and then also obviously no fans, or excuse me, fans being in the arena.
No, without a doubt, I'm excited for this one. Now we get to see how Masvidal performs up against Usman with a full camp. Same with Usman, because the last time, as obviously we all know, that the fight between them back at Abu Dhabi Fight Island last year, Masvidal took it with short notice. So it's going to be interesting, and this is going to be we're going to see what Masvidal can do, and I'm excited for that one. Obviously, we'll talk about that later. As far as the fans go, when I saw the announcement, I thought it was too much of a good to be true kind of situation, because yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting to see, and I love the idea that fans are allowed to be back. Even Dana seems to be pumped up about it. I just feel a little bit skeptical along the ways of, I mean, the event, I'm pretty sure, yeah, it's full in motion. The fight card's already gonna be packed up, but as far as we get to the days, I'll start to believe and I'll start to confirm that fans are going to be allowed in the arena as soon as we get closer and closer to the date. But as soon as we're a month away from it, it's kind of hard for me to tell that they are going to allow fans back in. No, without a doubt, there's going to be strong protocols. I'm pretty sure fans are not going to like the protocols. But hey, if it's getting closer to having everybody back in the arena, then that's fine. But still, it's a risky one. It's a risky thing. I think a lot of people don't really know the health hazards, but at the same time, if it's a risky thing, but it's 50-50. Fans are not going to agree with it, and fans are going to agree with the idea coming in. So we're going to see from both sides that they're going to have a full capacity crowd in the arena. It's 50-50, but right now I'm going to say I have low expectations that something's going to come up and something's going to say, no, that's not going to happen. Move back to the Apex, something along the lines of that. So I wouldn't be surprised if they were to move back to the Apex.
Yeah, I mean, I never really understand when organizations make these kind of decisions, because I'm going to agree with you guys somewhat on this. I think that we do need to start allowing, fans back in every single arena. I think it's, especially with people getting vaccinated, and if they can prove they were vaccinated or they took a test and they shared a negative test, you should really be able to do anything you want that specific day, right? I think we the tests have gotten here in the United States, so advanced since the beginning of the pandemic that essentially if you have COVID or not, right? And if you're vaccinated, you don't have COVID, or you can't get COVID. So your risk is a little bit less, obviously. And if you're in an arena filled with people that are vaccinated or have negative tests, essentially it's almost impossible for it to be a super spreader event, right? What I was going to say about, I don't understand when organizations make these kind of decisions, why not just do half the arena? Why not just do 7,000, 8,000 people and do it in pods? Yeah, why do we have to stack each other? Because to be honest, I would go into an arena and be sitting there next to people. I'm so that. And for you guys know me, I'm not the biggest, I'm not scared of COVID. Okay. You know what I'm saying? I don't go around living my life hiding in my apartment or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? But I still don't want to be sitting next to people like that and having people spit on me and scream on me. It's just, I just don't understand, because if the Abu Dhabi crowd for the McGregor fight sounded the way it did, now obviously it didn't sound anything like, McGregor, Khabib, or any of these other UFC events, but it was pretty noticeable. And if you were to pack 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 people into an arena and do it spatially and everybody's 6 feet apart or relatively 6 feet apart, I think that's way better than just, for some reason, going full bore. I get it. Dana White is a go-getter. He's done a great job during this pandemic. There's been so little of UFC personnel that have been involved with COVID incidents for the entire year. It's probably the one organization that's had the least COVID, realistically. You know what I'm saying? So, but again, I can't agree with this 100% either. I think it should be about half the crowd. I think you could do enough, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 people. And then when everybody's fully vaccinated, and most people are vaccinated, and we get back to a normal world where you can't really do anything about COVID anymore in the summer, then we can do. And we all believe that. When we're all vaccinated and we're all going to do a podcast together. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not going to be sitting here like, oh, well, you just got to make sure, like, no, we all know. We know what it is, right? We see the statistics here in Orange County, like, where we all are from, like, it lowers and lowers and lowers and lowers every 2 weeks at a crazy amount. So at least the tests and stuff. I'm ranting. I'm going on, a thing here, but I have to agree with you guys. I don't think it should be a full crowd. I think they should just, do like half the arena. It's still going to sound the same. And because we're not used to it, it's going to sound awesome regardless. And I would have enjoyed 3,000 fans. But 14, 15,000, I don't know about that. I know Florida's crazy, but I don't know about that.
I want to add one more thing. Since, they're going to have fans, I wonder if they're going to have cages to separate these people.
It's a good point. Jesse, I was thinking about this too. Like, if you're a fighter and you have to, I'm like, no, I don't want to be anywhere near the crowd. Like, they need to create like a WrestleMania type entrance for these guys. and, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think the fighters are going to want to, fight in between people and have people up on the cage. Like, I think they'll still spread out around the cage. I was watching, like, before the Leon Edwards Bilal Muhammad disaster this last Saturday that we're not going to talk about, but I was watching old Leon Edwards fights, and I was watching, the crowds, and I was like, man, you can't do that these days. And I don't think they will. So it will be interesting to see how they set up that kind of stuff too, because I don't think every fighter that signed up to fight at UFC 261 was okay with people screaming on top of them during the middle of a pandemic, right? Wow. So it's gonna be weird, and it's gonna be interesting. But again, I get UFC, I get why they're doing it, but maybe a little over the top.
Really quickly, a couple things. Number one, just because you're vaccinated, that does not disqualify you from getting COVID-19. Now, granted, your chances are much better not getting COVID with these COVID vaccines coming out. But as Dr. Fauci said, people who are vaccinated still need to wear a mask when they go out, because you could still have it in your nostrils and then be spreading it around. They still have not done enough research yet on COVID-19 vaccine and if you get it and whatnot like that. So that's a risk too as well. You could still catch COVID too if you get a negative test on that day of and start spreading it around. So there's dangers. There's certain things that's going on. But what I want to talk about real quickly is Jorge Masvidal. Like, how many more times are we going to give this guy the excuse of, oh, he took a fight on 5 days notice and he got out? Because the fact of the matter is this. He took that fight on 5 days notice. He hyped it up. He went on ESPN First Take and said how he was the resurrection. We keep seeing the whole Ben Askren thing. I'm tired of seeing that. He went in there and he lost. So I personally don't think he should be getting another fight at Kamaru Usman until he proves his worth. What? Is he better than Conor McGregor? Conor McGregor can't get another title fight until he proves his worth. Why does Jorge Masvidal get to come in there and
RKJ, Kamaru Usman called him out. The champ called him out. That's why he's good. Nobody thought that he should get a rematch, but the champ wanted to fight him. So that's why we're in this situation. Like, I agree with you somewhat. I think Masvidal needed to kind of earn his ranks again, maybe beat a Colby or maybe beat a Leon Edwards, but he's going to jump the line because the champ knows it's a money fight. And now it's going to be a huge money fight because there's going to be people in the stands and there's going to be more revenue and stuff like that. So I can't blame Usman for deciding, and I can't blame Masvidal for saying, fuck it, I'm going to fight. Like, that's why Usman called him out. I actually agree with you, and I think Jesse probably agrees with you too.
Yeah, I get it.
I wish, real quick, Jesse, I'm sorry. I hope that Kamaru Usman doesn't give us that crappy fight, give us another crappy fight like he did the last time he faced.
He's gonna.
That was absolutely terrible. I went on Reddit and some people were calling him Kamari Snoozman, and I absolutely agree with that description, because it's a situation where that was one of the most boring fights. I have not bought a UFC pay-per-view since that fight, and I will not buy it if Kamaru Usman's in it. And unfortunately, I'm not going to buy it because Kamaru Usman's in it, and there's a full crowd, and I don't think there should be a full crowd in the middle of this pandemic still.
Will you?
No, I agree. I somewhat agree with
you.
The thing is,
will you buy the Ngannou?
Go ahead, Nick.
Absolutely, I would buy Francis Ngannou. I love Francis Ngannou. That makes somebody on live television.
But anyways, added to your point, Ryan. As for Usman, yes, he did call out Masvidal. It was supposed to be, the fight, and they got a beef to settle, and this is not the way they're going to settle it. Now, as to your point about his fighting style, his fighting style is not going to change. It's going to remain the same because he's on the streak right now. He's basically undefeated.
Yeah.
Why change things up? Why you still going at the same pace, at the same level, and keep it in there for a while. He already passed. He's about. I think he already broke George's St. Pierre's win streak, but not title defenses. As for the most wins for a welterweight. But yeah, I mean, whether you like it or not, Usman is not going to change his fighting style. Whether you hate him or like him, he's going to keep it that way, and he's not going to be unfazed by anybody's opinions of him. So that's it.
Well, I mean, it's the same. I have a ton of opinions about Khabib, and this. We'll get to that at some podcast about his fighting style and whether he should be called the GOAT based on his fighting style and stuff like that too. I think that Khabib gets way too much credit for his fighting style when Usman essentially does the same thing and just doesn't wrestle as much and just doesn't finish his quit. But Eric, I want to pose this question to you. We're going to move on from UFC really quickly. You heard that obviously WWE's WrestleMania ticket sales, they were supposed to be today, Tuesday, March 16th. Yeah, it's the date. And they got moved. I personally think it's because first of all, there was already a rumor that they were moving it from 25% capacity to 50% capacity in the stadium. And I believe they're going to try to do it 100. So what would your opinion be of WrestleMania? Would it be the same, obviously, with WrestleMania? I mean, why am I even asking you guys this question? We all know what you guys are going to say. But Eric, okay, I'll pose it to you. Do you think the reason the ticket sales got moved is because they want a higher attendance? Is that why? Do you think you said that's why?
I mean, it's risks. Yeah, they'll do it. But again, I mean, it's one of those things. It's another risky thing. Obviously, they want to raise ticket sales, and this is also another good opportunity for the Peacock platform that they basically signed with. So it's going to be, another thing, man. I mean, right now, everybody in the world of fighting and in the world of pro wrestling, they want to jump on this whole thing about trying to raise the capacity crowd to 100%. Again, like I said, from UFC 261, I'll believe it as soon as we get closer and closer because, again, remember last year, McMahon, he still wanted a full crowd last year when we were still in the stages of COVID, but then they told him, like, nope, that's not going to happen because, the COVID just happened. And then who knows if the same thing is going to apply to him again. But I wouldn't doubt that they were going to have a capacity crowd, kind of like what they did for the Super Bowl, where they did have a crowd, but they were all spaced. So they could do something like that. McMahon won't be happy, but hey, I mean, what do you care more? People with their health, or you care about money? But I wouldn't be surprised if he cares about money.
Come on, Eric. We all know what he cares about.
Yeah, I mean, so that's an obvious answer.
Don't you know his theme song? It's all about the money, 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 money.
That's not his theme song, bro. His theme song is No Chance.
Whatever.
Yeah, what?
It's a big man. It's a big man.
That's shame.
Boo! What, Jesse? His theme song isn't money, money, money,
It's
money.
No
It's
Chance.
No Chance in Hell. Boo, 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 Jesse Chaparro, bro. Okay. No, you know what? You know what? For that, you don't even get to answer this question. RKJ, what do you think? Do you think the reason they moved the ticket sales is because of they want maybe a possible full crowd?
Yeah, that unfortunately is the way I think it's going. And you know what's unfortunate about this whole situation is there's a report that just came out. I'm not sure who it was. It could have been Fightful or Dave Meltzer. But apparently Vince McMahon wants all the wrestlers and the performers to be more safer right now during this COVID-19 pandemic. How ironic. NXT now has a little bit of a breakout going or an outbreak going, and they delayed ticket sales for what we think is going to be 100% capacity stadium. So really, Vince, how safe are you being? It doesn't make any sense. And God bless you if you are going to spend your stimulus money that we had to fight and claw for to get on WWE WrestleMania. God bless you. You want to go You want to go, no vaccine, go get your money, the $1,400 that you barely got, the little bit of money you got in your bank account, you're going to spend on a shitty seat behind the Tanktron on WrestleMania. God bless you, just because you're so desperate to get up out of the damn house. God bless you, man. Do you. Yeah. But just let you know that you're going to be sorely disappointed and you might get COVID. So,
this is the worst WrestleMania card to like expect people to come to, and now they like want a full crowd for the first time since COVID. Well, like, okay, we're gonna get into Fastlane here because I'm already getting mad. Okay, so let's just start shitting on WWE again, because does it make any sense to anybody out there listening right now? And I'm gonna, by the way, when I edit this, it's gonna be on me too. Just, it's gonna be on all of it. I've been picking your nose on your stuff, or you got caught. Do you really do you think WWE is a smart fucking company? Like, because what they're delaying ticket sales until after March 20th. WrestleMania is in 3 weeks, and nobody has any travel plans or anything. Nobody knows if they can go. It already is hard enough to get a plane ticket to other states, and now WWE is going to delay their ticket sales because they want more people to go who aren't going to come. Like, what is wrong with Vince McMahon and the people that run WWE? They honestly are some of the dumbest businessmen I've ever seen in my life. Besides the shit they do illegally and sketchily, like cutting all their talent and having stuff with Saudi Arabia and all that stuff, okay? They're smart in that realm. I can't blame them for going, after a bloodthirsty leader and taking his money, okay? I can't blame them for that. They made billions of dollars, whatever, right? But creatively and in the United States, I think they are the dumbest United States company in the world. I honestly think they are the dumbest company in the U.S. Jesse, I just change the subject, please, before I start cussing and making my girlfriend mad again in the other room.
Look, I'll agree with you, man. They like that Saudi money, man. They like that oil money. And so as for Vince, everybody knows Vince. Vince is like Dana White. They're the yin yang, but
he's dumber than Dana White. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's like Dana White trying to take down the streamers, but that hasn't happened. He's threatening a bunch of streamers out there, and you know what? People are still streaming his stuff. So whether you like it, Vince, I mean, it is ridiculous. It's stupid. I'm gonna have to say this. This is retarded. So I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry I offended all of you guys out there.
Jesse got canceled. Jesse's canceled.
Oh boy.
Nick, bleep it out.
Cancel culture.
I thought I was going to make the mistake that was going to get us canceled. Nope. Jesse.
No.
But,
I agree. I mean, is there another way? He said it. I wasn't going to say it because I just wasn't going to say it. But he said it. Is there actually another term to use that's actually more appropriate than the R word for what this strategy is? That's what it is. It's dumb as fuck. It's stupid and it's retarded. So Jesse, I'm on the board with you. Now we're both canceled. Okay, I'm just saying that's what this is. Okay, we won't say it anymore. But like it's getting to that point.
That's the last
it's
time
getting to that point.
you hear me say that. So
yeah,
yes.
I don't know about them being dumb businessmen, and to be fair and equal, business women. I'm talking to you, Stephanie. I don't know about them being dumb necessarily about that, because let's be honest here. They were able to manipulate this thing to the Peacock network perfectly. They were able to get billion-dollar deals with Fox and NBC Universal perfectly. They were able to get a $10 billion deal with Saudi Arabia or whatever it is perfectly. So they know exactly what they're doing. They're putting the least amount of work and getting maximum profits. And you're seeing during a 2020 pandemic, they get their most profits ever. Why? Because they know how to manipulate the situation perfectly. So they are smart businessmen and businesswomen because they are absolutely getting away with BS, and we're all allowing it to happen.
Well, it's kind of like
here. Wait, Jesse, can I say something real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
RKJ, I can't oppose your take on that they're good businessmen. What I'm going to say is this: it will not last. With Vince McMahon in power, he will drive this company into the ground legitimately. I mean, look at Raw's ratings compared to AEW. And by the way, here's something we're not going to talk about in this podcast, because we'll talk about it when it actually happens. But there's a rumor that NXT is moving to Tuesday nights after WrestleMania. It's an official report. So likely NXT is going to be on Tuesdays, which means we're going to see AEW's legitimate real rating. And I'm going to guarantee right now in 2021, AEW will beat Monday Night Raw. 1 week. At least 1 week. And then Vince, the chickens are going to come to roost for Vince McMahon. I'm telling you that right now. Because, RKJ, I can't disagree with you that they are smart in how they can make money. But I think business strategy-wise, in 5 years, if Vince is still somehow in power, this company will not be, it will be a disaster. Like, it will be the dirt. The NBC will get out of their contract box. I think this strategy needs to stop right here, right this year. There's an excuse because of COVID, but I do not understand at all what WWE is thinking with any of this shit. Any of it.
I'm going to be honest with you, Nick. I honestly think they're going to get bought out by somebody. I think Walt Disney, ESPN could buy him out. I think NBC Universal can buy. Somebody's going to buy him out because they're starting to talk like they've got something up his sleeve. I don't think Vince McMahon is ready to give it up. Either he's going to die with the company or he's going to sell it away. It's not going to be a situation where he's going to give it to his children, I guess. I guess he doesn't trust them enough because he still hasn't left. But I think that legitimately in the next few years, as Vince's health declines more and more, and every time he gets on television, it looks worse and worse every single day. I'm telling you, death is coming for him. Death is coming for him eventually.
The guy he's crazy enough to actually still look ill and still look like he's dying and still go out there and try to put up an effort. And I know I talked about this with you guys before. He'll show up in his deathbed or maybe in a stretcher and still run the show. That's just crazy how he is.
Look, yeah. I'll give this to Vince. He's a ride or die type of guy. He's willing to crash and burn with his ship, or anything that he's driving. And
Titanic, he'll go
Titanic. He's willing to go down with it, and I can respect that. And I that's the most respect that I'll ever give him. But as for Ryan saying not giving it to his children, I mean, it might go to either Stephanie or Triple H. Come on. They're the next best, especially Triple H. He's the next best guy to run it. I mean, we've seen him put on great shows in the past. How could you not give it to his son-in-law? Unless
I'll say this. It will go to the family. I disagree with the RKJ Man. It will go to the family. I would believe Stephanie would have a so much better chance of getting it than Shane. And I think Stephanie getting it means Triple H, right? I think you can't really give the company to Triple H, but by giving the company to Stephanie's going to hand it over to Triple H. Like, she's not going to take over the company. Like, she might be the owner and make all the profits off of it, but at that point, Stephanie will take a step back, and Triple H will be the owner, will be the guy running WWE. Stephanie will be the owner. You get what I'm saying? So I do think it will be passed down to Stephanie, but all that is just a way to pass it to Triple H without Vince giving it to Triple H, right? That's kind of the way it goes.
Well, really quickly, I honestly think that Vince is not going to give it to Stephanie McMahon or Triple H, and particularly Triple H, because you heard the reports last year and before the pandemic, a little bit during the pandemic, that Triple H got demoted. Why? Because NXT was getting their ass kicked by AEW. And I think Vince McMahon put NXT there in that position as a test for Triple H. Okay, this is your first real test. Let's see. You're the first line of defense. Let's see what you got. NXT has failed. Let's be quite frank and quite honest with you. Them moving to Tuesday nights is them waving the white flag. So I think because of this, Vince McMahon has got in the back of his mind, he couldn't beat AEW on Wednesday nights with NXT. How am I going to have him take over Monday Night Raw and SmackDown and the whole damn company? Which is the reason why he made a joke during the first pandemic show on SmackDown about him being demoted. He made that joke. And you know what they say about a joke. There's some truth in it. There had to be some truth in that comment that he made. So it's a situation that's very interesting. Really quickly, Jesse, Vince McMahon is ride or die, but the key word in that whole situation is die. I want you to remember that.
Yeah.
Die.
Bro.
We're saying a lot of bad shit on this podcast
We're gonna
today.
get canceled,
All right,
guys.
it's a fucking freaky. It's Taco Tuesday, and we are excited. Okay. All right, Eric. So I want to pass this next question. I want to change topics with our final topic of the day. Can you just let the viewers know about what you might have thought was happening this weekend, or what wasn't happening, or didn't know happening this week? Explain to the viewers what we're going to be talking about next.
Fight night, right? We're talking about fight night.
No, Eric. There's actually there's a WWE pay-per-view this weekend. Did you know that?
Oh, he did not, I guess.
Again? What's this pay-per-view called? Filler Lane?
It's
Great American
Bash. Close to that. It's called Fastlane. Fastlane. That's what it's called.
Well, hey,
Fastlane.
look, the only big news that I heard was that NWA Power is coming back, so I'm excited for that. But I didn't expect fucking Fastlane.
Yeah.
But yeah. Shout out to NWA Power. Shout out to NWA. NWA Power. Yeah, they're gonna do a better job. Hell yeah, I'm excited for NWA Power. Shout out to Billy Corgan.
Shout out to NWA, by the way. Did they fucking get back? I can't believe they're back after what they went through. I mean, all their superstars are on fucking AEW and all over the place. And it was hard. Obviously, they needed that small studio audience, and they weren't really able to do the professional wrestling that they wanted to. So, yeah, shout out to them. And I'm glad that we have some pay-per-views to look forward to in the next couple weeks that are legitimate. Because Fastlane is kind of a joke. I mean, there's some legitimate shit going on this pay-per-view, but this did not need to happen. And most of this could have happened at Elimination Chamber. And, again, we're 3 weeks away from WrestleMania. We have a pay-per-view before they sell the damn tickets for the event. What is going on? But so real quick, here are the matches according to Wikipedia on a Tuesday that are happening at Fastlane, okay? Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler versus Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. Obviously, Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks are fighting for the SmackDown Women's Championship at WrestleMania, so we'll see something happen there. You have Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus. Okay, they already announced that Drew McIntyre was going to be fighting for the WWE Championship for no fucking reason on Raw at WrestleMania. So why is this match happening? We don't know. Braun Strowman versus Shane McMahon's happening on this pay-per-view because I guess that's too big for WrestleMania. You have Big E versus Apollo Crews Intercontinental Championship match. That's been one of the better storylines in WWE. I am not going to talk shit on that at all. Alexa Bliss versus Randy Orton. Yes, you heard that right. This isn't SmackDown versus Raw 2007. This is a legitimate pay-per-view match that is going to happen. Alexa Bliss versus Randy Orton. And then, of course, the thing that this is the only reason that anybody would buy this pay-per-view. Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan for the Universal Championship with either Edge or Jey Uso as the special guest enforcer. And we will talk about that the most at the end of this discussion with Fastlane. But, Eric, I'll pose it to you again. What are you most excited about besides that match? What do you look for? Is there a reason to buy this besides Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan? I mean, I guess you don't have to buy it, and we're probably all going to get Peacock Network because we want to watch wrestling. No. I'm not. No, I'm saying no.
Eric will buy it. He's the #1 customer.
Eric will buy NWA Power 3 times before he buys it.
They needed more. NWA needs it more.
That's true.
NWA.
After all the business deals that WWE's been doing, good luck with my money.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Check. Yeah.
But obviously, Fastlane is going to be on the Peacock Network. It's debuting on the Peacock Network, and I assume we'll all have Peacock by the end of April because it's WrestleMania or whatever. But is there a reason to watch this pay-per-view besides Randy Orton and Daniel Bryan? In your opinion, Eric?
Look, the only thing that really is kind of driving this pay-per-view somewhat okay is the Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan. This one should be interesting, but I wouldn't be surprised on who wins this match. It's going to be interesting with the Alexa Bliss and Randy Orton match. Don't expect this to be like a full-on wrestling match. It's going to be more of a cinematic kind of thing between those two. So obviously Alexa Bliss. I mean, if Randy Orton were to really wrestle Alexa Bliss, let's all be honest, like Randy Orton would freaking murder her. So the other one, Braun Strowman, Shane McMahon, I didn't see this coming, but the other, Drew McIntyre and Sheamus for no reason, right? Okay, I mean, I'll accept that. The rest, not really interested. But other than that, just the main event itself, that's when I'm more interested. Like I said, man, why? Why am I watching this? Give me another reason why I need to watch this.
This is why I love when the pay-per-views sneak up on Eric and we go, hey, Eric, we got a podcast this week.
Tell
and he
me
goes,
why I need to check this pay-per-view.
Well, it's just a UFC fight night. And then we have to explain to him that it's Night of Champions or it's Fastlane or like, and it's fair because I didn't know either until I realized, oh, we probably should record this week because there's a WWE pay-per-view. You know, thank God UFC 261 happened. That news came out. As mad as we are at UFC for having a live crowd, that's way better than just Fastlane even happening. Jesse, your thoughts on Fastlane?
I have no thoughts on Fastlane. That's why I do not like it. So, but as for what Eric said, why bother? Why bother to waste money on this? It's not that great. It's not the best thing. They could do better for the fact they actually should do better on this, but it kind of shows they put a lack of effort into this card. So, but yes, I'm gonna have to agree with Eric. What's so special
now,
about
what
this?
do you? I mean, we could have had we could have had Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns on SmackDown, legitimately. Like we could have had that match. We could have had all these matches on TV, and I don't think we'd be like, oh shit, Daniel Bryan versus Roman Reigns on SmackDown. That's awesome. That's kind of crazy. But like, if there was no pay-per-view booked between Elimination Chamber and WrestleMania, we'd be like, well, that's why. Because there's no pay-per-view book. But they forced this down our throats. RKJ, man, I cannot fucking wait for you to talk about this. Your thoughts on Fastlane and just your thoughts on Fastlane. I'm not going to say any more than that.
Hey, let's call it shit lane, first of all. Let's just call it shit lane. Let's call it that. Because they're just shitting all over the road to WrestleMania, honestly. That's what creative and has been doing.
Stalling. Yeah.
Let's be quite frank here and quite honest with you. Nobody cares about this pay-per-view. And this pay-per-view was only made just so they can slowly transition us over to the Peacock network. Otherwise, I don't think we'll be getting this pay-per-view. We shouldn't be getting this pay-per-view, honestly, with no fans in the crowd. And you know what's frustrating to me? They announced the WrestleMania matches the week before Fastlane. So you're supposed to promote Fastlane. Like, I remember Paul Heyman said this one time. He went on his promo and did all this stuff. He came backstage and Dusty Rhodes asked him. He was like, that's a great promo, but where's the money? Well, that's my question to Vince McMahon and them. Where's the money for Fastlane? Because you were getting everything ready for WrestleMania. And that tells me as a viewer, well, if Drew McIntyre is going to face Bobby Lashley for the title of WrestleMania, why would I care about Fastlane? What do I care about it for? As for my predictions, I think Randy Orton is going to RKO Alexa Bliss to hell. And I mean that literally. She's going to hell. There's going to be something weirdly cinematic about this matchup, and we probably will see the return of Bray Wyatt for their matchup at WrestleMania, which could be good. I'm tired of seeing this old demon stuff from Alexa Bliss. Like, it's getting weird. Like, stop it. Either Bray Wyatt comes out or not. Like, stop doing this whole stuff because we don't want to see that devil worshiping stuff on our TVs. Next thing up.
With the power crest to tell you.
I can't do it. Like, it's hard to explain it to my parents in the background while this girl's in the background worshiping.
No.
Like, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to watch.
RKJ, the first time I saw that pentagram image on the TV of Alexa Bliss around it, the first thing I thought was your dad. That's what I thought. I would go, he's watching this and he's yelling at RKJ. He's yelling at RKJ for putting.
Here's the thing: I didn't watch it because anytime that stuff goes around, I don't get near it. I don't get near any of that. That is something I don't need.
Oh yeah. No, I know what you're talking about. RKJ, you're talking about Raw. You don't get anywhere near Raw. You don't want to touch it at all.
I haven't gotten to Raw in weeks, and it's been the best thing ever, man. It has been the best thing ever for my life and my mental health. But anyway, getting back to the point, man. All right, here's the matchup that I want to see. So we know that Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair are facing each other at WrestleMania. That should be the main event, giving how terrible this card is looking like right now for night one, in my opinion. In my opinion, that's night one's main event.
Of WrestleMania.
Yeah, because Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre doesn't cut it unless you have freaking Brock Lesnar return, and that's not going to happen. So here's the situation. I want to see a heel turn from Sasha Banks. I need to see this heel turn immediately, just like a few years ago when Shane McMahon turned on The Miz at Fastlane, and that set up their fight for WrestleMania, which we saw in person, if you guys remember that. It's a situation where I want to see Sasha Banks turn on Bianca Belair, and that is going to set up some heat because right now this feud has been terrible. It's been awfully booked. I don't know what's going on. Now, I predicted it, and I said that they're going to face for the tag team champions, for the tag team championship, and that's what's happening. I put that one out there. So Steve Creative probably took it from the RKJ Man. Somebody was probably lurking and probably Sony sent it to Vince, and you're probably making $500,000 when you shouldn't be doing that. So here's the situation. She needs to turn. I need to see Sasha Banks go from Sasha Banks to Ratchet Banks. I need to see her turn up the heel. I need to see her be the true boss because I'm not seeing that, and the character is a heel pretty much. So we need to see that character, and we need to see some angst between those two ladies because all it is some fake friendship love that shouldn't be happening right now on the road to WrestleMania. Like, Sasha Banks is trying to protect her spot. Bianca Belair is coming after her spot. So in real life, you are going to do whatever you can to stay on top. And Sasha Banks is a character that can seamlessly fly in between being a heel and a face. She can be like this version of the Big Show, just much better. And the fact that she can be a heel at one point and then just return back to being a babyface the night after. So it's a situation where I'm looking forward to that and seeing what happens with that situation.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple interesting things on this card. Again, I just think like when you look at, most of these things could have happened on a couple episodes of SmackDown or a couple episodes of Raw. And it's just like, why do we need, a whole event on another day when we already don't want to watch WWE on Monday and we don't really want to watch WWE on Wednesday? I'll watch it Friday if there's enough good booked stuff. But like, why am I watching? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's over the top. And yeah, RKJ, you're right. Like, the reason they're having this is because they want to try out the streaming network and they don't want it to fuck up on WrestleMania, right? But do that with Elimination Chamber. Like, why do you need to do that? Elimination Chamber was like 2 days ago. Like, why you know what I'm saying? Like, why we have to have Fastlane now? It's just ridiculous. And again, we're fooling poor Eric here. He doesn't even know when pay-per-views are anymore. And it's just, it's a sad thing to see, it's just, it's sad. No, let my, really, it's just, I love that Daniel Bryan is potentially going to be in WrestleMania because, you know what, I'm down for Daniel Bryan and Edge and Roman Reigns in a triple threat match. That's way better than Roman Reigns versus Edge. So I'm down. I want Daniel Bryan to, I don't know how it's going to end up being. I don't know how he's going to win. I don't know why you would just not put over Daniel Bryan in this match. But again, it's WWE and they fucking have no storyline set up. So we don't know we don't know if the right thing is going to be done or the obvious thing is going to be done. I wouldn't be surprised if Bianca Belair turns heel because WWE wants to shake things up a bit. Or if, Apollo Crews all of a sudden turns face during the middle of his match because it's going to trick the fans. It's just, and by the way, I'm not drinking in this episode too. So this is all me, right, by the way. Like if you guys thought because I was drinking a fucking IPA last episode because I was going over the top, this is how I think. But so it's just, I think there needs to be stuff. If you're going to have a pay-per-view, the stuff that needs to happen. Sasha Banks needs to turn heel. J-Man said, like all of us have said. Daniel Bryan needs to win the Universal Championship or at least find a way to get into WrestleMania after this card, right? And, I think Apollo Crews needs to win the Intercontinental. He's one of the most over things. He has the best gimmick change of the last few months so far, Apollo Crews. His stuff is awesome. That guy, I've been waiting so long for that guy to finally get propped up, and he finally is. And Big E hit an awesome promo on SmackDown last week on Apollo Crews. They're both doing great, and I'm glad both those guys are doing well. And besides, everything else I could care less about. I mean, we all know it's so obvious Bray Wyatt's coming back and all that stuff, and it's I don't care about Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, and I don't care about Shane and Braun Strowman. And so, yeah, I do care about certain things. And if they don't happen, I'm going to come on this podcast next week and I'm going to get mad again like I am right now because I just want WWE to be chill for a fucking second. I want them to be chill for a second. And they just aren't like that kid that just doesn't shut the hell up. You know what I'm saying? Like that kid that's just like not cool at all the time. And you're just like, dude, can you just be chill for 1 second? That's WWE and Vince McMahon right now. So,
right. No, hold up. This should be a version of Nick's Grinds My Gears. WWE.
No, that's RKJ Man's thing. I mean, we'll have to have another Ryan rant when it's appropriate, but I can't do that. That's gimmick infringement on RKJ Man if I do that.
Copyright.
Yeah, but so does anybody have anything else to say about Fastlane? Anything else in the chat WB about any of this WWE stuff, or should we just move on to the end of the podcast?
Move on to the end of the podcast and congratulate NWA once again.
Yeah, that's true.
Well,
NWA power. Congratulations, Billy Corgan. Congratulations to all those guys. Nick Aldis. We haven't seen Nick Aldis in a year, literally. What's up?
A little bit over a year. So
more importantly, we haven't seen Camille Brickhouse in a year. I'm just saying. Just throwing that out there. Okay, on TV. I think she's fighting Thunder Rosa.
Yeah. I heard about that. Yeah. Yeah, you can't wait for that one.
Hey, really quickly, what's the name of the pay-per-view? Isn't it something Back Attack or something? Back from.
Yeah, that's the pay-per-view. Back to Attack, and then after that, NWA Power. Yeah.
You know what? Because we hate WWE so much, we'll do a preview show for NWA Back to Attack. We'll do a preview show. We'll all do our research and we'll do a preview show. We absolutely will do a preview show. That will breaking news here on the Ring Generals podcast. Okay, we couldn't end the podcast without thanking again everybody viewing our content. We have another close to record-breaking viewership on this last podcast that we did. The one in the so go break record, go below right now. We thank anybody that's watching. Any new viewers from outside of the United States. We notice there's a lot of people from outside the United States watching the podcast without saying that, but I'll let RKJ Man do a better job and finish off this podcast the way it should be.
Hey man, thank y'all so much for joining us on this journey. Okay, like, comment, and subscribe. But as always, raise a glass in the sky and salute the Ring General.